Let's start this off on a good note, a troll note. I'd like to take this time to thank the Minnesota Wild for losing 5 of 6 games to keep us 2 points ahead of them. We've lost 9 of 11. And funny enough, the Colorado Avalanche have lost 3 of their last 5. So it kind of makes you wonder, were these teams just pushing each other? Do they continue to just push each other? And then when one falls off, the desire for the other teams isn't there as much to keep up pace. Food for thought. I thought it was interesting that all the teams are struggling at the same time when they were on such a tear for most of the season. So the Stars are finding ways to to lose games right now, and in this one, I thought that Dallas outplayed Utah at times. I thought our goaltending was good enough. Maybe not perfect, right? You might want that one goal back, but it's kind of hard to fault Ottinger too much on this game when we only scored one goal ourselves. We got goalied on the other end of the ice. Vimelka had a great game, and we just couldn't. I really think if we put a little more rubber on net, we would have found a way. Um, it didn't hurt that it didn't help rather that we had no penalties as usual to work with on our end. Our power play has been very underserved. There were a lot of stuff that went uncalled against the Stars that you would have liked to have seen a power play, but you know, um, we shots were even. It shouldn't have been with all of the possession that we had. And this is a recurring theme with the Stars. Forget about the outshot part of it. We've talked about that. But with all of the possession that we do get, why are we not out shooting teams? I don't get it. I can't figure it out. Maybe you can tell me. Honest question to all y'all foilists. Why are we not producing more shots even with possession? I couldn't tell you. So we got out hit again. We only had 15 hits again. It's just unreal. Petrovic needs to step up. In my eyes, he's one of the guys that can do this, but just doesn't seem to want to. There's other guys that can step up too. I'm not going to name them all, but that's the one that comes to my mind today. Man, we can't get Bishop back any sooner, but he's not going to help you. At most, you maybe have right like let's just say he usually adds 4 or 5 hits. You're still right at 20 or under, and that's not good. That is not physical hockey. That's not the kind of hockey that puts a toll on your opponents. That's not the type of hockey that makes your opponent afraid to enter the blue line, right? Where's the standing them up at the blue line when you need it? We don't see that. It's so much poke checks and just lowly taxing hockey on the other side, and that's got to change. The other thing that was horrendous for us on the night was 33% on the face-off dot. That's not usually our MO, but our face-offs have not been great lately. Missing Sagan doesn't help to that end. Um, Man, having Sagan in this lineup would help, but as he would put you over the edge, I don't think so. Not at this stage in his career. The Stars needed about 5% more effort in this game. That's what they needed. Miro being out didn't help either, but um, the other team was without Logan Cooley, one of their best players, one of their fastest players. So, you can't use that as an excuse. You remember how good this team was when we had injuries out the wazoo? So, I mean, I don't think you can use that excuse when this team has proven that they can rally. So Harley has had 2 points in 11 games. That's rough. That's rough. And he's been given, in the last 2 games, he's been given a lot of ice time with Miro out. Has not done anything offensively. I think defensively he's looking better, but we need his offense too. That's his bread and butter is his offense. So at least he's not making a slew of terrible mistakes in the defensive zone. So we got to be thankful for at least that bit of it. Duchesne only has 3 goals in the 19 games since returning, and this is not to pick on Duchesne. I totally understand the concussion things, but that is a big part of why we're not scoring more goals right now. Duchesne is a big part, at least, of our regular season success last year. Remember last year he was a point a game player, so that's not going to plan, and a lot of that is not really you can't really put that on Duchesne. That concussion's a tough injury. Jamie Benn, you can put something on there. 0 points in 7 games, and we need him now. We need him in this slump to rally the troops. We need him to drop the mitts. We need him to make a big hit. I saw him do throw the body a little bit, but man, this is kind of looking like the Jamie Benn that was absent in the playoffs last year, right? And for the second half of the season last year. I don't quite understand it. I don't know if he's dealing with injuries or it's so night and day for him where, he started off when he came back from injury doing great. I think he was at like a 50, 60 point pace for the first dozen games or so. It's gone now. It's gone now. So another thing, so many sticking and obstruction penalties from this team. This team takes a lot of penalties, but it's not of the kind that is the rough stuff. It's these ticky-tacky, hooking, tripping nonsense. Delay of game, slashing someone's stick out of their hands. So the Stars are back under 80% for their penalty kill, middle of the pack. And I did say shots were even. We were outshot 27-24 until we pulled our goalie. So whatever way you want to look at that. Turnovers, we were doing okay there. We were on the right side of it by the tune of 6. So it's a mixed bag this game. I mean, you look at this game and we did some things that were good. It was more entertaining hockey. I was entertained by it. It was definitely more pleasing to the eye than some of the other games. You like the pace, you like the end to end, but you wish you get the W out of it. And I can't say that we thoroughly outplayed them, but on a lot of nights you would have got a win here. So maybe that's something to build on, and we need something to build on because we play a tough team next. Tough in a lot of ways. Tampa Bay has won 11 straight games. And get this, to all the naysayers out there who think that fighting is just for decoration and that it's correlated with bad teams, Tampa Bay has the most fights in the NHL right now. And they're the hottest team in the league. And they're top 4 in the league, and they could be taking us over. I think they're right in the runnings to take us over or tie us with a win. So, I see, especially. I mean, there's some bad teams that are just doing it out of frustration. But if you're emotionally engaged in games and you're dropping the mitts when you need to shift momentum, you're gonna have a lot more scraps than the Stars do, and it's gonna help your team. It's not gonna hurt your team unless you're taking instigator penalties a lot. But Those are the kind of penalties that your team are generally motivated to kill for you. They want to go to bat for you when you go to battle for your team. So, I don't have numbers to back that up, but I bet you that if you look at offsetting minors on penalties for fighting, I would bet if I was a betting man, I would bet that those penalty kill numbers would be higher than on a hooking or tripping call. So, anyway, yeah, we've got to get ourselves out of it. What better way to get ourselves out of it than to slay the dragon of the NHL right now in Tampa Bay with their 11 game winning streak? Let's hope for that. Let's end it on a positive note. Go Stars. Let's pull out of this.